Hey guys, Bradley Hallman here. Really appreciate every single one of y'all coming back. Yes, I'm still in Central Michigan. Today we're going to do a video on line care, line maintenance, what I use to spool and unspool rod and reels with, how I carry it in my boat, how I carry it on the road, and we'll even talk about how I take care of it at the house. Listen, it's one of the most important tools that we all have as bass fishermen. Whether you're a tournament fisherman or a fun fisherman, there's nothing worse than your very first cast of the day after you just put new line on all your reels the night before. You make the long cast, the big one bites, you set the hook and it breaks. And you reel your stuff in and it broke right at the knot or somewhere in between. We all do the same thing. You grab it and wrap it around your hand, and you pull on it. It's supposed to be a 20-pound test and it's just a little pull and it goes, your line's rotted, broken, bad, something. You know, did it get left out in the heat? Did it get left out in the sun? It's ruined. And you've spooled up 5 or 6 rods or reels with it the night before, and so now you know you've got nothing but bad line to fish with all day, and no one likes that. So line care, line maintenance. I work with Sunline, you guys know that. I'm not trying to push Sunline down your throat, so don't think that this is some big long sales pitch. It's not. I don't really care what brand of lines you use, don't use. I'm just gonna go through some of the products that I use and how I take care of them and what I use to spool and unspool rods and reels with while I'm on the road and through the year. So let's do it. Let's start with at home. So you've gone to the store, you've ordered from Tackle Warehouse or ordered online, whatever, and you've got all of your new line in. Where do you put it? Where do you not put it? Let's talk about that. The places to not put it are probably anything out in direct sunlight, a container that's clear, that can be seen through, that the sun can penetrate, anything that's just out in the heat. Fluorocarbon is going to last way longer. It's not affected by the sun and the heat as much as monofilament or nylon line. Monofilament, the sun damages it very quickly. Just a day of laying a reel on the deck can damage your fluorocarbon or your monofilament. Fluorocarbon is going to take it a lot longer, but that doesn't mean that it's still just set it out in the sun and leave it. I like to keep my stuff at home in a protected dark room where it's not air conditioned, but it's definitely not heat. It's not just a straight heat of a garage. The sun's not beating on it to where the inside of my garage where I keep my line probably never gets above 80 degrees, 85 degrees in Oklahoma. It's connected to my house. It's insulated. There's air conditioned walls on both sides of it. It's a safe place to keep it. If you're really particular about your stuff, take it and put it in your closet of your house. Anything in a conditioned room where it stays between 70, 75 and stays the same temperature year round, that would be ideal. On the road, that's where we are today. Being from Oklahoma and I'm in Michigan, these are some of the containers that I carry my stuff in. This big one right here, I use to carry all of my fluorocarbon and my monofilaments and stuff in. And you'll notice that it's a black box. It's not clear. I don't want any of the sunshine or the light hitting my line storage and my units. And I'll set this down. We'll kind of look inside of it here. This is kind of an overkill, but I packed this box at the beginning of the year. So this is not just for one event. This is what I'm going to carry for the entire season. This is just different fluorocarbons that I use. Whether it's shooter, whether it's FC sniper, or whether it's crank. I've got all different sizes of each. I use shooter for anything that I'm dragging, flipping, pitching, slackline, hook setting, shooter. Anything that I'm winding, chatter baits, spinner baits, jerk baits, I'm going to use sniper. Anything that I'm cranking, I do like the crank. I like the wind. It's got a little bit more stretch in it. A lot of the Sunline guys do like crank. I'm also in that category. It's a nice line. It does seem to have a little bit more stretch to it, has a little bit more monofilament type properties to that line. But storage, that's why I keep it in the black box. This box stays inside my back seat of my truck to where I try to keep it, you know, so at least when I'm on the road traveling, it's air conditioned. Once I get to wherever I'm staying, the BRB house that we're in, this goes inside, at least goes to the garage. It doesn't just sit out in the back of my truck at the parking lot at the boat ramp every day in the summertime to collect the heat, or in the winter for it's cold. I don't think the cold hurts it. I know some of the guys talk about keeping their line in the freezer. I guess, you know, you could do that. I don't think the cold hurts it, but definitely the heat. I want no part of that. That's my big box that I carry around. My other box that I carry on a day-to-day basis, I've got a lot of the same lines that I have in the big box in this box, but I just have one spool of each. The reason I carry this box around a lot is because sometimes I like to string during the day, play with different lines. This may go in the boat, so this is easy. I can pick it up, throw it in the boat, and have it there that day. Also in this box, I carry a lot of my braided line. It kind of helps me keep separate from all of my fluorocarbons. I just carry one of each size fluorocarbon in here, along with most of my braids. Braids for down south in Florida, frogging, flipping, pitching, and grass, along with all of my smaller braids that are used for my spinning reels. So this box goes with me year-round everywhere I go. It's made by Sunline as well. It's easy to carry around and keep everything in and organized. Allows me to be able to find everything pretty quickly and carry it with me on the boat. This little jewel is a little product that I actually carry all of my fluorocarbon leaders that I use, 9-pound test, 10-pound test, 12-pound test, 7-pound test, and 8-pound test, just in a little spool. This stays in my boat all the time. This is for all of my anything spinning rod that I'm using fluorocarbon leaders to my braid. And so that way I've got a rundown of all my line sizes in my boat all the time. And actually this got taken out of my boat and thought it was in my boat last week at St. Clair. And I just found it right before I made this video. It was in the cooking utensil box in the back of my truck when I was looking for coffee this morning. And I was like, where have you been? This is it. So this is gonna go back in my boat because it stays in my boat all the time. These little bags right here are pretty cool. This is what they look like today. If you order and buy one today, they're like this color. They're the exact same bag on the inside. This is just an older version of it. A little more modern camo, and I don't know what's in here. This could scare us. They're divided packages to where you can put different lines in them. This is just a really neat, handy, here's 10-pound test, 16, 8. I've got some braid in here. I've got some monofilament in here for some of my top water stuff. This is just a handy little compartment that you can use, a small bag, and you can throw it in the truck. You can throw it in the boat. It fits in a rod box real easy. It's just a real comfort, compact way. And like I said, it's not clear. You're not getting direct sunlight straight to your fishing line to be able to maintain it and take good care of it. Spooling and unspooling. This is probably a really cool part of this video. These are a couple of products that I have found through the years that have helped me tremendously. These are not sponsored products by me. This is actually called the Spooler. I will put all of the contents that we talked about in this video in the links down below. If you guys are interested, you can go look at them. I believe this is actually made by Jewel Bait Company. The base of this whole thing is heavy. The base of it's heavy, and this bar is a stainless steel bar, and it's heavy. I mean heavy. And then it's got a little spring latch on it that kind of helps hold this thing down. So if you haven't seen one of these, let's just open up this spool line. No matter what spool of line that I have or use, here's a Sunline 10-pound test sniper. If I want to spool up for, say I'm throwing a jerk bait and I want to put a 10-pound test on it, I just grab this spool of spooler, lift this bar up, it's quick and easy. It slips on here and I can grab the spool of line and start spooling straight onto my reel. The only thing it is it's a little bit loud. So if you're on the phone, you're not going to hear who you're talking to until you get that reel completely spooled up. We run into that because it seems like that's the time of night when I'm generally trying to visit with my wife at night whenever I'm stringing rods. But it doesn't come off. It stays in one spot. It's got 2 grooves. I've used this thing so much. You can see it's got deep grooves in it where the spools have rubbed notches inside that plastic. I've probably had this thing for 5 to 6 years. Great investment. It wasn't cheap. It's got a line cutter on it, a built-in line cutter, so you can just put your line around it and cut it whenever you're done. Matter of fact, I need to right now. Just like that, it just clips it off, and then I'm done and ready to move on to the next line of spool. Another trick, here we go. This is something that one of the ocean guys, saltwater, taught me. You got a spool of line, just like this. Let's get a close-up of this. You got a spool of line like this, and so then you put it in your box, and the tag end's always flying out and going everywhere. This is a quick little knot that they use out on the ocean. You just lay your thumb in there, run it over your thumb, bring your thumb line out, take it and twist it 4, 5, 6 times. Take the tag end, run it through there, and it makes a nice little knot right there on the spool. And then next time, whenever you go fishing and you want to get it, all you have to do is grab that knot, pull it back out. I clip it. I clip this and leave it like that so I don't have a tag end at all in my box, and then all of them are that way. And then next time I need to use it, I just grab that knot and just pull it right out. That one didn't work because I didn't cut the tag end off, but you get the gist. And then I'm back to my spool line. So real simple knot. Just run it over my thumb. It's getting worse. Run it over my thumb. Grab that loop. Twist it 3 or 4 times. Pull it through. And I don't pull it down real snug tight, but it just like that, so that I've just got a little knot and there's a little loop in there that I can reach later. Cut off my tag end, my little line clipper, and it sits in my box just like that. And then you don't get the long fray tag lines inside your box all the time, so it keeps it nice and neat. And then the spooler, the D-spooler. This product's made by Berkeley. I think that this is a pretty cool invention. I've used this for 3 or 4 years. I used to use a pop bottle on a battery drill, but at the end of the day, I might have 10 rods I want to redo, and it takes forever to manually take line off of it. So I'll take 3 or 4 rods that I know that I'm going to take the line off of. I'll lay them on the front deck, push the button on all 4 of them, take all 4 lines at the end, wrap them around this one time, take this end off, run it through here, and all I have to do is clip that thing down on my line and start pulling. And I usually start slow, and then as I get going, I can rock those reels and they'll be off. The problem with the Coke bottle was always, once of the 4 reels, one of them is going to run out of line first, and I'm going to hit my knot where I've got backing line on, and it'd always create a big, break a rod tip, which I've actually done before once. But when that reel's going that fast and you accidentally hit the end of your line, it jerks it. But this product has a built-in stopper, and it's a clutch, so no matter how hard it's pulling, once it stops, it'll stop it. And it doesn't take much pressure to make it quit, so it's actually a great, wonderful safety feature. I can take line off of 10 reels extremely quick, cut me and save me time on this little thing right here. That's a cool feature, and it just fits on any battery drill. Any battery drill that's got a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch drive, it'll fit. You just slip it inside there and tighten it down, and you're ready to rock. I carry that with me everywhere. It's a cool tool. I personally don't use any line conditioners. I know a lot of guys do. I do think they can help. I do think they can help maintain your line. They help with twists and knots and make your line a little more conditioned. I used to see guys take line and stretch it, new line, and they'd tie it to something. And once it was on the rod, they'd pull it all the way out and stretch and kind of pull on that line and kind of help condition it that way. I don't do that either. But I do know that there are some benefits to doing it. But once you fish with the lines, a few times, it does tend to stretch out anyway. Fluorocarbon stretches way less than mono. I don't see guys doing that as much now as I used to years ago, and it's probably the quality of the fluorocarbon today. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's what I travel with. There's a little bit of overkill there, but like I said, a lot of those bags I packed in January, and I just wanted to make sure that I had everything for the entire season with me, and I wouldn't forget from event to event to event. So guys, appreciate every one of y'all being here. Links are below. Comments, please. If you got any suggestions, throw them in here. You see something you think that you got better than what I'm using, please, man, hit me up on it. I'd be glad to talk about it. Until next time, guys, bump that like, hit the subscribe, and I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.